Do
you mind introducing yourself?
My name is Tanya Guerrero. I'm a senior, and I'm part of the LP project.
It's nice. Tanya, what kind of music do you make?
Usually I write pieces for guitar and vocals. Usually it's like in a minor key, more sad kind of stuff. Yeah.
Do you write your own songs?
Yeah, I do write my own music.
So you said you play guitar.
Yes, I do.
Do you more prefer more like electric or more acoustic?
More acoustic than electric. But I also play piano, ukulele, and I've written music for all those instruments too.
And how exactly do you record your music? Like, do you use Logic, do you use GarageBand, do you use any others like non-Apple?
No, I use Logic most of the time, yeah.
What other kind of microphones and setups do you use?
Usually when I'm setting up, I just use the box that Mr. Gemco has in his office, just the Shure SM, and then I pop it onto a music stand and just sit there and just start recording whatever comes out, yeah.
And have you taken any of the music production classes here at York?
I transferred here junior year, and the summer before junior year, I took music production 1. Junior year, I didn't take any classes, but now my senior year, I'm currently taking music production 2, and I'm going to take music production 3 next semester.
Where do you get your ideas from for songs? Like, what influences you?
That's a fun one. Usually, I'll have writer's block for a while, and then something will happen in my life, and I'll just have a nervous breakdown. And then once I recover from that breakdown, I realize that I've written lyrics and chord progressions, and that's like 99% of the time, that's how my songs come up.
Besides your life as an inspiration, how has the York Music Department influenced you?
The York Music Department has done so much. I've gone to other schools where the equipment is not as good, or they won't push you as much, but teachers like Ms. Marionetti, Mr. Gumko, Mr. Pavlik, and Mr. Oswald, all these people, they will push you in ways that you didn't think you could be pushed. Like, for example, Mr. Gemco, if I'm kind of half in, half out about something musical, he will just push me and push me and push me until I agree to do it, and then it turns out great.
What instrument do you play most out of, guitar, ukulele, and piano?
Guitar is my go-to. That's the one I learned first. But if I'm trying to do some logistic things, I use piano just because it's a lot more logical since all the keys are in order and it's just easier to map out. Plus, it's a good skill to have because if you're trying to use instruments that you don't play, you can just put them into the keyboard and then just turn them into whatever instrument you want.
It's nice. That's nice. And how long have you been playing your instruments?
My first one was guitar, and I started that, I think in 7th grade I started playing guitar, and then piano started my freshman year, bass my sophomore year, and then ukulele my junior year.
When did you start getting into music? What was your, music is your, I don't want to say career choice, but, what made you decide to get into music?
Well, my mom is a singer in a band, and all of my mom's side of the family, they all play guitar. They're very musically inclined, so I just kind of grew up around a ton of music. And then my Colombian culture is very music-centered, so I was just always integrated into music.
You mentioned your mom's in a band. Can you talk more about that?
She's in a Colombian band called La Sonora Dinamita, and so it's a cumbia band, which is a kind of it's a Colombian genre of music, and it's more like dancing music. So, yeah, and she's in that band, and through all the people in her band, I've been able to learn more instruments and pick up equipment and all that stuff. Yeah.
Have you taken, professional lessons, or have you just, learned as you go to play guitar, piano, and any other instrument?
I'm self-taught. Usually you can't afford private lessons, so Google and YouTube are my greatest teachers. I did have piano lessons for a while, though, and that really did help with reading sheet music, which is also very important.
What do you say, out of all the songs you've written, do you do any covers of songs?
Well, in my free time, I'll, just pull up a song and play chords. I've never, actually recorded and covered a song, but I do have, ideas of what I would like to cover and hopefully execute, yeah.
What has been the favorite song that you've recorded so far?
Okay, so I think every time I write a song, I learn more from what I've written before, so each new song that I write becomes my new favorite song. But one of them might be, one of my favorites might be a song that I wrote called Runaway, and halfway through the song it goes into Spanish, and it's about my great aunt was going through cancer, and then she died, and her son, my cousin, like, we were very close, and then once I learned about that, I was just able
That's
to
very
write that
interesting.
song.
My condolences.
Yeah.
You say you're from Spanish descent and Colombian descent. Have you ever gone to Spain or actually lived there for a period of time?
I'm not from Spain. I'm from Colombia.
Colombia.
And this past summer I did actually go to Colombia. And since I went during their Colombian independence, so there was this parade, and there's a lot of bands and a lot of like music influences come from Colombia, and it's very cool.
How do you feel as the Colombian culture influenced your music and you as a person?
Well, my mom grew up in Ibagué, which is the musical capital of Colombia. So the times that we have gone, it's just all different kinds of music, like all music. And then there's also artists from Colombia, like Shakira, like who is Colombian. She's an amazing artist, and she's very well-rounded,
yes.
and she can do all these things. And I find great inspiration in that, just because, like, hey, I'm Colombian too, so I can also make music.
It's nice that you can find connection with other, like, I don't say famous, but icons in music culture. That's very nice. You can get inspiration from them.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
But I'm just of American descent, so it's not much I can draw inspiration from. But, do you listen to any music?
Do I listen to music? I listen to pretty much anything and everything. I started out with only Spanish music because that's what my parents listened to. And then as I started like going to middle school, I was introduced to kind of like punk rock and that kind of stuff, and I was very integrated into that. And then like more into high school, I was introduced to musical theater, so there was a ton of musical theater. And last year I went to Nashville, and I didn't like country music before, but after going to Nashville and seeing all these country music and like how it's made and all that, I got integrated into country music, and I just listen to a little bit of everything.
So what's your favorite genre or subgenre of music?
Genre? Well, that's a tough one. See, I think it's like tied between like, it's just an equal love for musical theater, pop punk, and then there's also like the kind of like softer pop music, which would be like Parachute or Ed Sheeran, and that's kind of like what like gets put in through my music, the kind of guitar, like low, just good stuff. And then also like Colombian salsa, I think might be my favorite, just because it's so much fun to dance to. Talk about it first?
Sure, I don't see why not.
Okay, well, the show Much Ado About Nothing auditions were coming up, and Mr. Forsyth asked if anyone knew how to write lyrics or perform live. And since Much Ado About Nothing is Shakespeare, I wanted more of a, Shakespeare vibe to it, so then I wrote this song, and I think it fits in quite nicely. So here we go. Your happiness shall thrive in the arms of whom you love. Your smile shall never waver unless the gods above place you in a position of torment and despair. The love in opposition to compliance or repair. Yet you continue loving, but you love in the shadow of a lie. Yet you love in the shadow of a lie. That's the first half of that song, just so you can get a little snippet of what that sounds like.